She doesn't want your flowers. She wants to feel your frame, not the muscles. The invisible boundary that says, I won't chase, even if you're beautiful. Most men try to win women by giving more, but women aren't moved by effort. They're moved by gravity, psychological gravity. And here's what they'll never admit. They're weak for the man they can't manipulate. The one who doesn't argue, who doesn't explain, who doesn't need her approval to stand his ground. Today, I'm revealing 10 hidden female weaknesses that trigger obsession, not love. Because the man who understands these never begs, never guesses, never gets played again. Ignore them, and you'll keep playing a game you were never taught how to win. Before I walk you through the 10 hidden female weaknesses that trigger obsession, not love, do one quick thing. Hit that subscribe button, drop a like, and let me know in the comments what city you're watching from. I read every comment and it tells me just how many men are waking up from this emotional illusion. Now let's get back to the story, because what you're about to learn will make you see every hot and cold text, every mixed signal, every silent treatment, with brand new eyes. Weakness number 1, her need for emotional certainty. She'll never say this out loud, but one of the deepest emotional needs a woman carries, often without realizing it, is the craving for emotional certainty. Not drama, not wild passion, but the quiet, unshakable feeling that the man she's with isn't going anywhere, no matter how hard she storms. This isn't about being nice. It's about being emotionally grounded. A woman's nervous system is wired to respond to consistency. When she lashes out, pulls away, or spirals, she's not always asking for comfort. She's checking if your center holds. Here's the twist. Most men fail this test the moment it shows up. They react, they get defensive, they try to fix her feelings, to prove they care. And every time they do, their value drops. Because in her subconscious, the more reactive you are, the less stable you feel. And the moment she has to be the calm one, you've switched roles and the attraction dies. But when you stay calm, when you don't flinch, when her emotional wave crashes and you're still standing where you were, she melts. Because now she can relax. Not because you agreed with her, not because you fixed the problem, but because you didn't collapse. Emotional certainty is one of her most hidden weaknesses. She needs to feel it, not hear it. And she'll only feel it if your energy says, I don't chase storms, I outlast them. If you don't know how to hold your emotional frame when she loses hers, you'll keep mistaking her chaos as a problem, when in fact, it's her unconscious test to see if you're a man or just another storm of your own. Weakness number 2, her obsession with what she can't have. A woman will never admit this directly, but the moment she knows she fully has you is the moment her desire starts to fade, because in her mind, what's certain isn't exciting, and what's too available? It's forgettable. This isn't manipulation, it's biology. Human beings chase what feels scarce, but for women, that chase is emotional. She doesn't obsess over the man who texts back instantly. She obsesses over the man who leaves her wondering, not out of cruelty, but because his life doesn't revolve around her. You see, the real weakness here isn't her love for you. It's her addiction to closing emotional gaps. When she senses distance, just enough to feel uncertainty, her mind starts spinning. Does he like me? Why didn't he reply? Who is he with? And now, without you lifting a finger, she's invested. Not because you begged, but because you withheld just enough to keep the gravity alive. Here's the mistake most men make. They think giving more creates connection, but what it actually creates is comfort. And comfort, too early, kills curiosity. Want her to chase you? Stop handing her the full picture on day 1. Let her earn the next page. Let her work to figure you out. Mystery doesn't mean silence. It means selectivity. It means letting her discover the layers, slowly, intentionally, without rushing. A woman's obsession doesn't come from answers. It comes from questions. Leave just enough unanswered, and you'll never leave her mind. Weakness number 3, her instinctive response to deep voice and presence. She can scroll past 100 faces, but one man enters a room, says almost nothing, and suddenly she can't look away. That's not about luck, it's presence, and it hits her body before her brain even catches up. A deep, steady voice, grounded eye contact, stillness. These things don't just look attractive, they feel safe. And to her primal brain, safety equals strength. You see, for thousands of years, women survived by sensing power before it was spoken. A man who could lead didn't need to convince. He radiated it, through energy, through movement, through voice. That instinct is still there. That's why a shaky voice, rushed words, nervous gestures, they don't go unnoticed. Even if you're saying the right things, your energy betrays you. But when your voice is low and calm, when your words are deliberate, not desperate, when you occupy space without asking permission, she listens, she leans in, not because you're loud, but because you're certain. Presence isn't about dominating others. It's about not being dominated by the moment. Here's the truth most men miss. You don't need to speak more to be heard. You need to feel more grounded to be felt. Practice stillness. Lower your tone. Slow your breath. Hold eye contact 1 second longer than comfort allows, because her body will feel it before her mind can explain it. And when your energy says, "I know who I am," her instincts will say, "I want to know too." Weakness number 4, her fear of being walked away from. Nothing scares a woman more than a man who can walk away. And mean it. Not in anger, not to punish, but because his self-respect is louder than his desire. Most men do the opposite. The second she pulls away, they chase. They explain. They beg. They try to fix her feelings, thinking that will win her back. But here's what she really sees. A man who needs her more than she needs him. And the moment that balance tips, attraction collapses. You want to know what keeps a woman invested? Knowing that if she disrespects you, plays games, or crosses your boundaries, you won't argue, you won't yell, you'll just leave. That doesn't make you heartless, it makes you high value. Because walking away isn't about punishing her, it's about honoring yourself, and that energy of silent strength hits her harder than any speech ever could. You become the man she can't shake off. Not because you forced her to stay, but because she knows you could have left, and you would have. That knowledge alone triggers a deep psychological response. Suddenly, she starts measuring her actions. She steps back into respect, not out of fear, but because you've shown her what self-worth really looks like. A woman's hidden weakness? She respects the man who doesn't flinch when it's time to walk, and she obsesses over the man who disappears, without noise, without drama, because he didn't lose her. She lost him. Weakness number 5, her attraction to purpose-driven men. You could be good-looking, you could be funny, charming, even rich, but if you have no direction, she'll lose interest faster than you can imagine, because her deepest craving isn't attention, it's alignment, with a man who's moving forward, with or without her. Purpose is magnetic, not just because it signals ambition, but because it creates structure. And women feel safest inside a structure that's built on vision. The moment you make her your mission, you lose her. Not because she doesn't want to be valued, but because she doesn't want to be everything. She wants to join your world, not become it. Here's where most men go wrong. They drop their goals when she texts. They cancel plans when she calls. They rearrange their life around her moods. At first, she'll smile, but soon after, she'll start pulling away. Why? Because instinctively, she senses something's off. You're not leading anything. You're orbiting her. But when you're locked in on your path, building something, chasing something, becoming something, you give off a signal few men can emit. I am already full. You're welcome to walk beside me, but I will not stop walking. And that signal, that's the kryptonite. That's what makes her lean in. Because deep down, she's not looking for a man to chase her. She's looking for a man she can believe in. A woman's hidden weakness is purpose. Not hers, yours. Weakness number 6. Her craving for controlled vulnerability. There's a paradox most men never understand. Be too closed off and she feels shut out. Be too open and she feels burdened. What she's drawn to isn't raw emotion, it's controlled vulnerability. The kind that whispers, "I've been through hell, but I didn't stay there." Here's the truth. She wants to feel special, like she's earned access to a side of you no one else sees. But if you give it all away too soon, you don't feel deep, you feel desperate. This is why oversharing kills attraction. Because the moment your emotions start bleeding all over her, she doesn't feel connected. She feels responsible. And the second she has to manage your feelings, the polarity flips. You become the emotional one. She becomes the container, and attraction fades. So what's the answer? Reveal, strategically. Share your struggles, but only after you've processed them. Open up, but not from a place of needing validation. You want to connect? Tell the truth, but do it from power, not pain. Let her feel that you've been cracked, not broken. Let her see your depth without drowning her in it. Because when you choose to be vulnerable on your terms, you give her something rare, emotional intimacy without emotional dependency. And that's irresistible. A woman's hidden weakness isn't just emotion, it's calibrated exposure. When you master that balance, you don't just connect, you captivate. Weakness number 7. Her subconscious need to test you. She doesn't do it consciously. She doesn't even realize she's doing it. But every emotionally intelligent woman will test a man, not to hurt him, but to reveal him. It's instinct. Before she gives you more of herself, she needs to know, can you hold your ground? Can you stay centered when she's not? Are you real, or are you just playing confident? So she'll throw little storms your way. She'll disagree for no reason. She'll go cold after a warm night. She'll tease, challenge, even provoke. Not because she wants chaos, but because she wants clarity. Here's the mistake most men make. They take it personally. They get defensive. They explain themselves. They seek reassurance. And just like that, the test is failed. Not because you didn't fight back, but because you reacted. And reaction always signals uncertainty. You want to pass her tests? Don't resist. Don't explain. Don't collapse. Smile. Stay grounded. Let her emotional waves crash. And don't move. Not out of ego, but out of presence. Because when she sees that nothing she throws at you can shake your frame, she exhales. She trusts. She softens. A woman's hidden weakness isn't just attraction to strength. It's deep submission to emotional stability. When she tests and you don't flinch, you don't just win her interest, you earn her respect. And once you have that, everything else becomes effortless. Weakness number 8, her respect for rejection-proof confidence. Most men fear rejection like it's a death sentence. But the few who embrace it, who laugh it off, who walk away without flinching, they trigger something different in her. Respect and curiosity. Because rejection doesn't hurt a high-value man. Not really. What hurts is needing her approval in the first place. When a man walks up, says his piece, and gets turned down, but smiles, shrugs, and says, "No worries, you're allowed to have bad taste." He's not just confident, he's untouchable. Why? Because he just proved something rare. His value isn't hanging on her validation. This isn't arrogance, it's emotional immunity, and women are weak for it. You see, every time you handle rejection with grace, you communicate this message: I'm not desperate, I have options, and I know who I am. That kind of energy flips the script, because now she's thinking, wait, who is this guy? And suddenly, the rejection she gave you doesn't feel so certain anymore. Because women don't respect the man who needs a yes. They respect the man who can handle a no and still walk away like a king. The secret is this: don't let rejection touch your energy. Don't explain. Don't ask why. Don't try to recover the moment. Let her feel what it's like to reject a man who didn't flinch. That discomfort, that's attraction being reborn in silence. A woman's hidden weakness isn't kindness, it's resilience. And when she sees you stand tall in the face of no, she'll start wondering what it'd take to get a yes from you. Weakness number 9, her obsession with mystery. She doesn't obsess over what's obvious. She obsesses over what she can't quite figure out, not because she wants games, but because her imagination needs fuel. And once everything about you is on the table, how you feel, what you want, how available you are, her mind stops spinning, and so does her desire. Mystery isn't about being distant or cold. It's about being incomplete, about letting her discover you, layer by layer. Here's what ruins this dynamic: immediate replies, over-explaining your emotions, constant reassurance. These things feel secure to you, but they signal predictability to her, and predictability kills pursuit. A woman doesn't stay up at night thinking about the guy who's always there. She stays up wondering about the man who gave just enough, then disappeared into his own world. You want to trigger obsession? Stop being an open book. Start being a well-written story, the kind she has to keep reading to understand. Don't respond instantly. Don't overshare too soon. Let her wonder. Let her chase. Because the more room you give her imagination, the more real estate you take up in her mind. A man who's hard to read is a man she has to decode. And that decoding becomes the hook. The mystery becomes the magnet. A woman's hidden weakness isn't transparency. It's tension. Give her too much certainty, and she'll move on. Leave her with questions, and she'll keep showing up, hoping for answers. Weakness number 10, her powerlessness against a man who controls his desires. Every woman can feel the difference between a man who chases her out of hunger and one who chooses her from fullness. The first one flatters her ego. The second one shakes her core. Most men are ruled by desire. They see beauty and lose composure. They get attention and start orbiting. They feel attraction and start sacrificing their standards. But the man who doesn't chase, who can say no to the invitation, who can walk away from pleasure because his purpose is louder than his impulse, that man is rare, and women are weak for him, not because he plays hard to get, but because he is hard to move. His discipline is real, his time is guarded, his energy is sacred, and that signals something she rarely sees: a man who is in control of himself. Here's the secret: the moment you stop needing intimacy, you become irresistible. Not because you're withholding, but because you're sovereign. Women are drawn to men who don't let desire dictate behavior, who choose connection but don't beg for it, who can enjoy intimacy but don't make it their mission. Because when a woman feels that your entire life doesn't bend to her body, she respects you. When she sees that her beauty doesn't overpower your discipline, she craves you. A woman's final hidden weakness? Self-mastery. And the man who embodies it never has to chase again. Now you know the 10 hidden female weaknesses that shape desire, trigger obsession, and flip the game without a word being said. But here's the thing: this isn't about controlling women. It's about controlling yourself. Because once you stop reacting, once you stop chasing, once you stop bending to every silent treatment, every mood swing, every test, you stop playing her game, and you start playing yours. You become the rare man she can't replace, not because you're perfect, but because you're unmoved, unshaken, untouchable in your center. Most men will hear this and keep doing the same thing. Keep over-explaining, keep seeking approval, keep mistaking chaos for chemistry. But if you're still here, still listening, you're not like most men. And that's your advantage, because a woman's desire isn't built by what you give her. It's built by who you are without her. And when your presence speaks louder than your words, you stop chasing love, and it starts chasing you. So if this hit something deep, if a part of you just realized, damn, this is the piece I've been missing, then you already know what to do next. Don't just watch. Build yourself into the kind of man these truths were made for. And if you're ready to go deeper, tap that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. Drop a comment below. Tell me which weakness hit the hardest, which truth you needed to hear most. Not for me, for you. So you never forget the moment you stopped being confused and started becoming unshakable.